conversation. Today's episode is with Skywalker Payne. Skywalker, welcome.
Thank you,
Oh,
Margo. It's a pleasure to be here.
I am so excited to have this conversation with you because you are going to tell us about an event that's coming up. It is a virtual conference, as a matter of fact, correct?
Yes, and
Okay.
it's it still is the first all woman of color virtual conference in terms of who's convened it, organized it, which is me, and all the women involved and all the speakers are women of color. And women of color for me embraces anyone who's not from a European heritage.
Wow.
That include, and it's not a skin color thing, it's a cultural and heritage things. So basically it includes any woman, Latino, Black, African, Caribbean, Asian, Middle Eastern women.
Wow.
And because we all share certain experiences in common living in countries in which we are not the numerical majority. But in the United States, before the next century, the woman of color will be, this group of women of color will be the numerical majority in the United States. And I feel it's time for, and it is, I'm not the only one feeling this way. The woman of color is stepping into her power, her knowledge, her wisdom, and her place in the 21st century. And that's why we're having this conference to promote 30 women of color online entrepreneurs so that people can get to know them and learn about wellness, wealth, and wisdom.
I think you're groundbreaking. I know that this is something that is just phenomenal. So kudos to you as the thought leader, the influential voice right here. But Skywalker, would you care to give us just do some name dropping? You say it's a virtual conference taking place for wellness, wealth, and wisdom. Women of color, not necessarily, and women without the European backgrounds, but we're not talking about skin color. We're talking about culturally. So do you want to go ahead and give us some of the names of some of the women that are involved in this huge project?
Okay, and most of these are women whom I did not know at the beginning of the year.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm actually involved in a year-long mastermind for doing a launch, and a virtual summit was recommended. And my first response was, I don't like virtual summits because I've watched a lot and attempted to watch a lot, but some of them have good information, but they're really kind of dry.
Mm-hmm.
Some are downright boring, which is sad. But as I thought about it, I started to think this is a good idea. And as I learned more about it and saw the large gap of women of color participating in any summits, and
Yes.
let alone when I did a search, could not find an all woman of color summit. Now this week, and this is so that when this isn't held, this is May 28th. This week, Thinkific, the platform, is doing a type of summit, and they've called it Think Color.
Hmm.
And they've got 15 women, all who are teachers on using that platform. And they also have a variety of different women. It's just focused on entrepreneurship and specifically on courses and specifically using that platform, which is really a good platform.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's really great, but because it's being produced by Thinkific and they have one of the hosts is one of their white women, it's still not the first all
Mm-hmm.
colors.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually glad to see it because now it means people are getting interested and there'll be an audience who'll be interested in getting to know more women of color. So some of the women are, now this is one woman who I do know is Andrea Daniel. She and I met her last year. She's a voiceover coach and she's also a published poet. Then I've got Aisha Moore, who has a business that deals with self-care. And she talks about how to avoid and recover from burnout because she works with different people. And for instance, I've got Christina M. Wright, who's a financial educator and coach. And her talk was really, really good for me because I learned things that I didn't even know. And I was happy to have her. And I also have another financial coach named Beverly Baxter, and both focus on financial education, which is something that's missing for most of us. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they do it in interesting ways. And Miss Baxter has written a book called The Three Divas.
Oh, wow.
And she's launching it, I think, in the next couple of weeks. And she started to develop it by offering it ahead of her publication. And then she gave us an ebook in a course. And so she's really creative, and she breaks down the different types of personalities we can have when we're dealing with finances.
Oh my. You know what, Skywalker? It sounds like you have a myriad of fascinating experts who are authentic, who are not going to come on and give all the fluff. They're really going to pour into everybody and make it worth listening to. They're going to make it worth their investment of time with the virtual conference, the Wellness, Wealth, and Wisdom Conference. You're introducing us to women that maybe we have never met before, which is awesome. It is absolutely awesome. What days are the conference going to take place? Are we up for
this is going to be, I've recorded interviews, I recorded conversations with 28 women. I still have some more. So we're going to have over 30 conversations. And we actually have a couple of, we have an actual exercise sequence and a tapping session.
Really?
So we're going to start on June 16th, which is a Sunday. And I'm starting on the Sunday, not expecting a lot of people, but to make sure everything works well. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And because I'm using a new software that's really great for doing these events. But, you know, whenever you use something new, you want to make sure everything works. So it's going to run from June 16th through June 21st.
Okay.
And
I just want to break in there 1 minute because people are since this is part of a podcast, people are going to say, well, that time has gone past. Why are they playing this? I don't have access. Tell people that they are going to have access to, they're going to have access to this total event afterwards. And do you already have it established how they'll be able to, listen long after the event is over?
Well, if people register, which will be registration will actually be opening the week of June 10th. And registration is free. Registration is free. And once you register, they will be available, either all of them or on a daily basis, changing through the week. And after registration, you'll be on my email list and be able to know when and how to get to purchase the event if you weren't able to participate in it or able to buy a pass key while the event's happening.
Pass key.
And
what
because
comes
the software,
up next
I'll probably make it what they call an evergreen event, in which it'll be available for people to look at different times at different prices, and until we have another event, or it may take different shapes. But if you're on my list, you'll always know how to get access to information from these women and from other women as we continue to grow and do more events.
Okay. I like what you said that it's going to be evergreen. And I don't mean to pressure this, but I'm thinking somebody, because it is evergreen, somebody is going to catch wind of this fabulous event, say 4 months, 5 months, a year afterwards. If they email you, will they, and they say, I just ran across this event, how do I have access? Will you still give them information and will you let them listen from that point on, or you'll give them the pass key, or what's your plan for that?
Well, actually, that if you're actually opening all these doors in my mind of possibilities. We, one of the bonuses for people who actually buy a pass key or later purchase it, one of the bonuses will be the audio of all of the speakers. So that will always exist and always be available. And the videos, even if I take them off of the platform, which I probably won't, at least probably for a couple of years, but even then they would be available through other means. I could give people links. I could sell links.
All
So
right.
there will be different ways and different depending upon what's happening in terms of events or my business. But if someone was really interested, at least they'd be able to get the audio.
Okay.
But
All
I'm
right.
seriously also thinking about doing at least one ebook of the opening comments from each speaker, because I only had one, as I called it, canned question, and that was, what does wellness, wealth, and wisdom mean to you? And so it's really a valuable and interesting, it will be a great book of all their different responses. Because
Oh,
even
wow.
though they're different, there's a kind of similarity in them, which is really nice,
Hmm.
which creates a thread. And I think, and it really introduces people to exactly who these women are, because everyone looks at it differently when they come from their own personal experiences and explaining it. And some take it into their business too and explain it there.
I love this. Skywalker Payne here with us, introducing the virtual conference that's coming up June 16th through the 21st, Wellness, Wealth, and Wisdom. And as Skywalker said, it's the first conference, virtual conference for women of color. That says something. That means a lot. Now, you began to give us a rundown on the list of your guests. You want to pick that up again and give us some more names and let us know what they're going to introduce to us?
Okay, but I want to clarify, this is not it's not just, the conference is not just for women of color. This is the first conference by all women of color.
Bye. That's the operative word.
Right.
Okay. I
And
stand.
actually, the conference is, of course, definitely oriented towards women of color, because we want to serve our sisters. But it's also for anybody, because this is a virtual conference.
Mhm.
And we want to share information for anyone who's interested in growing in the areas of wellness, wealth, and wisdom. And when we're talking about wealth, it's not just the financial knowledge, which is important, but we also have coaches who talk about business and give lots of good business advice. And a lot of them weave all three together in some of their different types of businesses. So I've got um, a lady, and a lot of them are coaches. I have to here look at my schedule.
As you go over your schedule, what time of day will people be able to begin watching? What time will the virtual conference start in
It
the
actually, so I live in Alaska. So it's when it's 9 a.m. on the East Coast, it's 5 a.m. here. So rather than me getting up at 5 a.m. to
Mhm.
reach the East Coast, the videos will be available when people get up. I am posting the videos and schedule them from midnight through till 6:30. That way, I'm going to keep it that way simply because hopefully somebody in Africa or Australia will want to look at the videos.
Yes.
And the time, and then they're even on different days than we are. So I figured if I post it in the early morning hours, I'm going to be able to catch people wherever they are, or people who, wherever they are, can catch the videos if they have time. And then they'll be up, like the first day is actually going to be up 2 days, the 16th and 17th. That's the first day, because it's just 5 days.
Okay.
Technically it's 5 days, but it's 6 days in actuality. But the 16th and 17th, it's the same speakers. And then I change speakers every day. And if people have a pass key, they can watch whenever they want for however long they want. And if they don't buy a pass key, they'll be able to see them anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, or maybe for the whole week. I haven't yet decided on that. Mm-hmm. But I'm leaning more to having them just up for anybody the whole week, and so that people can choose, because what's nice is when they come to look at the conference, speakers are broken down by categories.
Okay.
So if you want to just learn about wellness, you can do that. And in our wellness group, we have Miss Chrissy King, who's a strength coach, and she does a simple 4-step strength sequence for starting off. And it's simple, easy, and could be a benefit for anyone, whether young or over 50.
Wow. It sounds like a person really needs to buy that pass key. It sounds like, you have so much information until, I would tell everybody, buy a pass key, invest in your wealth and your wisdom and your wellness. It's just worth it. You have put together a magnificent gift for everybody. So I just had to throw that in there. It's just like it gets, with each presentation, it just gets better and better and better and better. So I had to jump on in there on that. But please get back to some of the other people who are presenting and what their subject matter is.
Yes, and if the earlier people get into buying the pass key, the better bargain. And not only do you get the speakers, almost every single speaker is providing something free that's of value. Some are offering coaching calls, some ebooks, some tips on business or whatever they teach. So we've got, one of the ladies we have is not an entrepreneur. Her name's Zelda Cookie Wade. And I met Zelda this year when I decided that the woman of color is my niche and my focus. I joined different Facebook groups. And she had a Facebook group called 50 Plus Woman of Color, Class, Confidence, and Style.
Wow.
And then because I also have a podcast, and I interviewed her. Mm-hmm. And I was communicating with her and didn't know, I joined one group, then come to find out she has a global group that has over 27,000 women in it, over 50 women of color. Oh, wow. Not only that, she has 10 to 12 other subgroups on books, on style, on fashion, silver. Well, this one's silver hair. I was putting henna in my hair until I found that site, and she had a picture of a beautiful woman with silver locks. And travel is a new one, business and finance.
Oh, wow.
And I like her global one. And there's even one on recipes too. And what's interesting is Cookie works full time for the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. Mm. And she started this because she lives in rural Virginia and just wanted to, get conversations. And it's grown organically. Mm. Mm. And they also have groups local groups in cities. and in England, Germany, and Ghana.
Oh my.
Ghana. And
Powerful.
they have meetups. And they just had meetups the past couple of weeks, and they were all wearing yellow, and she posted pictures of them. And it's just the greatest Facebook group for women who are over 50, and because you have all these different resources, these different people, and by and large, very congenial conversations and engagement, and lots of engagement. Especially in the group, in the global group, people will post birthdays, they post graduations, they post some politics. I've posted polls. And so Cookie had never been on a podcast until I interviewed her. That was her first podcast, and she had a second one. And she started, when I started talking to her, I said, you're on a gold mine. And then she told me some stories that she's starting to realize that. And she's actually planning a conference next year in South Carolina, I think. So she's one of the people who not many people know about, because it's a Facebook group and she's not an entrepreneur. But she is, as far as I'm concerned, for women of color 50, she's a rising star, because she has an ability to bring people together that's practically magic. I mean, because I haven't been able to do that.
That is a major feat. And when you get women together like that, and we on a global basis, that's huge. Oh, I'm so glad that she's going to be a part of the conference. That's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, she's a great person, good conversation. All the women are good conversationalists. It's really nice, because we had conversations. Some women I had to ask more about their work depending upon what it was. Stacey Walker is a business coach, and she helps people to accelerate their business, and she's one of my coaches. Gulmaki Salah is a Muslim woman who came to the United States when she was a child from Afghanistan, and she teaches goodness. She's written 4 children's books, and she goes around to schools and organizations and churches trying to teach children about goodness, and also to teach people about her culture and about Islam. And she's a wonderful woman.
You said something, and I don't want to break in again, but you said something very important. And when people are listening, they're going through the conference, I'm thinking they should listen with an open mind to that person could very possibly be my next coach. Because I talked to a guest, and she said only 3% of the population is willing to invest in themselves. I was literally fell off my chair. Because I think that that's incredibly low for the magnitude of work that all of us have to do in this world. So what you're offering people as an opportunity to get linked up with some fabulous women who are coaches that can definitely take them off to that person's business to the next level. And that's powerful. Oh, Skywalker, that is huge. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I think part of the problem is that coaches, as a concept outside of sports, coaches is still relatively new for most people. Okay. And I know myself that a lot of us get put off by what some of the coaches charge. And what I did, you try and save money doing something that's cheaper or free. But it really is true, and I can attest to this, that once you invest in someone who can really help you, you start to grow in phenomenal ways.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not only just in business, also in personal development and getting to know yourself and know your abilities. But it's just, there's something about someone who is outside of your own head that can open up doors in your mind for what you need to do.
Yes.
and what you can, and not even so much what you need to do, but what you already have done and what you can do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot, and mindset is becoming used a lot more than it was just 2 or 3 years ago.
You're right.
It's
Yes.
becoming part of the vernacular because
Mm-hmm.
people are understanding and accepting that, yes, how my mind is set, how I think affects how I act, how my business goes, how my relationships go. And only when we take that kind of responsibility for looking at how we're thinking and how our thoughts affect our words and our actions can we really start to create the life we want to live and be the person we want to be. We can blame our circumstances. We can blame all kinds of things. A lot of time they're valid.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've learned through life journey and business wise through coaches and observing a lot of people is that we can really open up and we can actually change our mind to change our situation. And that's what a coach does. And a lot of the women, especially the women of color, understand the struggles that people of color have and women of color still have, particularly financially. So they offer all kinds of levels of coaching. And a lot of people offer courses. And a lot of them offer free courses mm-hmm. that are quality courses. And these are opportunities that people should take, because I've learned a whole lot of stuff from free courses. Yes. And you take the free courses and then eventually, and the best approach is to follow someone who offers a lot of free material so you can see who they are, what they offer you, and know if they can really help you to grow. Mm-hmm. Because you can make the mistakes that I've made too, and some other people have, of going to a webinar, oh, it sounds so great. And then you're saying, once you get in it, and you keep hoping and you go past the refund stage and you say, this wasn't really the best. I did learn something, but I've found personally following these women or men, if you're needing to do that, who offer education in all kinds of different ways mm-hmm. is the best way to find a coach. And I've got, in our wealth section, we've got about 10 different types of coaches.
Wow.
And the thing that's interesting is that you can apply what you learn about yourself to your business or about your business to yourself. And some of the coaches explain that. Now, we have Sandra Cheney, and she talks about transformation, and she's a coach. And then Miss Deborah Thorne, this lady calls herself the information diva.
I know Deborah.
Oh, yeah. You know Deborah.
Yes.
Yeah, because she's the one who told me about Geraldine.
Yes.
And Deborah's conversation is filled with information. Yeah. She shared so much information and so many ideas for some people starting business, mm-hmm. accelerating your business. And she's just a great conversation. She was really fun. And what she did in our conversation is worth $30.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Easily, and above.
And I'm starting off the first week really lower than what my own coach said, because I want to make it available for people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Register. You can get in on $30 from the 10th through the 15th.
Wow. And I think that this is so worth it. Until Skywalker, why don't you take this time to let people know where they can go to register? On that same page, can they go ahead and get that pass key? How do we get connected here with the registration?
Okay, right now, well, actually, you can go to Wellness. Let me just get my, It's actually wellness, wealth, wisdom. And there's the little slashes between wellness / wealth / wisdom dot hey, HEY, summit, SUMMIT.com. And you can register there and get the pass key.
Okay, I'm making note of that also. All right, and the virtual summit, the virtual conference, Wellness, Wealth, Wisdom, it takes place what dates now?
June 16th through the 21st.
Okay, wow. And you say that all these coaches and the entrepreneurs, they have free resources that are available to people after that. That's phenomenal. That is incredible.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it's not, and it shows you'll get information to get an idea of what they offer and learn something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any last thoughts on this fabulous conference that's coming up?
If you want to be informed and entertained, this is the conference. I have been and watched a lot of summits, and some of them offer information, but very few offer any entertainment. And these women are women who you may not have heard of, but they have businesses, they have clients, they have people who just love what they do, and they want more people to know what they do. And we're creating a community, and we'd love to have everyone get to know these women and their work. And you can be, if you're interested in wellness, from exercise to food, we have a speaker who's a vegan, and we have people who talk about, a lady who talks about tapping, and she opened my heart. So if you want to have your heart opened, you want to strengthen your body, you want to learn how to improve your wealth, you want to learn how to do better business, you want to learn how to resolve conflicts, all of this is available next month at the Wellness, Wealth, Wisdom virtual conference. And we'd love to have you.
I think this is fabulous. This is absolutely fabulous. One thing I forgot, and I'm not sure about where to go. Where do they? Well, you'll send them once they register. You'll send them the link, and they'll be able to go.
Well, once they register, the registration, everything is on that website address. Okay. So that even if they register right now, they would be able to see the schedule and get information. I'm actually still in the process of adding information about the speakers. But the videos will not be available until the 16th.
But you can jump on and get yourself registered and be in position. It'll be June 16th before we know it, as a matter of fact. So.
Right. Yes, I know. Coming up quickly. And then also, if people could also just email me at skywalker@vibrantvelvetvoice.net.
Give that once again, Skywalker, please.
skywalker@vibrantvelvetvoice.net.
Okay. Couple of ways to get involved here, and I don't think anybody should miss this opportunity. Every once in a while, there are a lot of conferences out there, but every once in a while, you run upon one that really is going to benefit you across the board. So if you're healthy, you're wealthy, and you're wise, you have it all. So Skywalker Payne, thank you for answering the call of what all of us need, what the world needs. Thank you very much. And that's it for Intentional Conversations. We'll be back with another person speaking intentionally. I'm Margot Levette. Bye-bye.